we going to be discussing. Oh my gosh. Cut.
Welcome to This Might Get Personal, where two life coaches, Nikhil and myself, Ashley, invite you into our unfiltered conversations. We're here to support others on their journeys while still walking our own, sharing the messy, the meaningful, and sometimes hilarious truths of growth and transformation. So grab a seat. This might just get personal.
Cut. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to This Might Get Personal, coaching unfiltered or conversations with myself, Nikhil. Ashley's here. Hi, Ashley.
Hello.
All right, picture this. Picture this, by the way. I'm at a coffee shop trying to enjoy my overpriced latte, and this guy walks in. He's wearing sunglasses, indoors, talking loudly on his phone about closing $1 million deals, bruh. Spoiler, it was his mom asking him to pick up milk. But, my friends, this is what comes across as confidence in our society, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it? I don't know. I think yes. I think people consider this as confidence. There's this feeling that people have when they are full of themselves that they are confident.
Well, if he's talking about closing $1 million deal, he's just on the phone with his mom who's asking him to buy milk. I would say he's in some sort of delusional land of egoism. I think confidence there's such a line there. And I think this is such a good conversation to have because as much as there is a fine line for me in my world and my definition of cockiness and confidence, there's also this balance of ego, yeah? And for me, it's where's the introspection? Is it outwardly? Am I trying to get something from other people? Am I trying to manipulate them in some way? Do I need them to perceive me in a way? Is it some sort of like fabricated belief that I need some sort of evidence to say that I'm this kind of person and that makes me worthy of love or affection or value or says that I have value? Or am I just being my unapologetic, authentic, kind, caring, compassionate self? And even though I'm outwardly focused on other people, it's coming from a different place. You know, it's like curiosity, connection, compassion, empathy. That is what I feel is the balance between cockiness is confidence, and confidence is no one is above me, and I am not above anyone.
Fascinating. I have a lot of questions about it. I hear you. I agree with a lot of it. Where I want us to maybe just take a pause is there a definition of confidence in your book? I mean, what do you think? What do you think about this? Confidence, is it an emergent property?
That's a really good question. It came from my own personality traits, as you said, and my own perspective and my own view of how I relate myself to the world in balance of cockiness and confidence. And that's where those personality traits come up because those are what I define myself as when I'm in the balance of those things. And I would just be curious as to what yours is, and then maybe we could find the commonality in that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have been practicing compassion, self-compassion, kindness, appreciation, gratitude, all of that. And yes, I am feeling more confident because of it. And sometimes I feel a bit cocky too, because sometimes when I practice these things, I somehow feel like, oh, wow, everybody should know this. Why is everybody not doing this? And people who don't do this, I'm like, why are you not doing it? And I got into that habit of comparison, or like not just extrinsic comparison, just internal comparison. So for me, these traits I had to practice to build my confidence. So I had to practice self-compassion, kindness, And more and more, I had to practice compassion, loving kindness for others in order for me to get to a place where I felt confident about myself in most situations. And we'll go into some of the situations, but yeah, so the situation is kind of a given, but I think what I bring is the practices. So I believe confidence emerged out of me through practicing compassion, kindness, all of that. And also, I'm saying there are other people who might have confidence in however we want to define it, in situational confidence, wherever it is. But they might not have these traits. They might not show that compassionate muscle. They might not show that, but they still seem to be confident. So I hope, I don't know if that answers the question, or does that just muddy the water a little bit more? Because we want to really, our aim here is to really muddy the waters, not clarify things. Clarifying things
100%. This is our decade. Who cares?
Exactly. Like, if you're here to listen about the clarity and and the 3-step plan to get confidence, think again. But if you're here to have a real discussion, real thoughts, unfiltered, yeah, welcome.
Grab a coffee, sit down, and be as confused as we are.
Be as confused, and share those confusion. And some of the things we say here, you can be like, what is this fella talking about? Confidence is as easy as this. Maybe people have figured it out. We would love to hear. And by the way, we are not therapists, just some highly, I would say, opinionated individuals with a microphone. But yeah. And if you find yourself relating a little too much to the cocky side of things, well, maybe start to notice what is happening. What is this? And or maybe if you're relating too much on the confidence side, maybe you should also like, what is going on here? So yeah, either way, welcome.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So when you're feeling more on the confident side, where are you feeling and what are you feeling there?
Good question. When I feel confident, I feel expansion in my chest and belly area. So I feel a bit more lighter and open.
Okay.
And I feel like moving. I feel like dancing. I'm not dancing. Yeah, I try to do dances. Like sometimes you can see me in the gym just dancing, like next to the weights. And people are like, what is this fella doing? But that's because I feel confident in that moment. I feel energized. I feel good. I've had a good rest. I've got, so like all of that added up to me feeling confident in that space. And then it shows up as energy in the body. And it usually is in the torso region. When I feel opposite of confidence, I feel the same energy, but it's, instead of projecting, it's pulling me in. Like, it's like, don't go there. Just stay here. Don't go.
This is confidence or cockiness?
Oh, no, this is opposite of confidence. It's not cockiness.
Opposite of confidence. Okay.
So feeling like you are not confident in a sit-up, or if you are like...
feeling like less than.
Yeah, less than. So that's the kind of inward pull. The other one is an outward push, and like I want to express myself. And that's the spectrum of that side. When I start to express myself, that's where I push the boundaries of confidence and through to cockiness, and like walking around like, I lifted 10 kilograms. Yeah, look at me.
So when you're experiencing cockiness, what is that like?
This is the difficulty, because that line between feeling confident and to cockiness, I don't see often. I go there, and then after a while I'm like, what did I do here? What am I doing? And that's when I realize, so because I practice mindfulness a lot, so I keep noticing where my mind is, and like eventually I'll be like, oh, this is a bit too much. Who is this for? Is kind of the question I ask. So when I'm dancing to myself, I'm dancing for myself. Or if there are people around, I dance with people and whatever. But when it is to show someone random, like no one cares about these people, and I'm trying to show them who I am,
Yeah.
that's when I feel like I'm cocky.
Okay. You just gave me an aha moment.
Oh,
Yeah, because I can relate a lot to what you said. And it's like, I feel like a lot of it has to do with the come from, like where are you coming from when you're doing these things. And like you said, I feel like the majority of people feel an expansion, like something coming, shining from the inside outward when they're feeling confident. They're just so overflowing in their own light and their own vibe and their own like yesness that it like people can feel it around them. They're like, ooh, I want some of that. Like, I like being around that. That feels good. This person is just like themselves. And or some people are also threatened by it because they don't feel comfortable with their own confidence. But that's another story. So back to confidence. And then if you're coming from like a place of cockiness, maybe you can resonate with this, but like for me, and then from what I've experienced with my clients and peers, that cockiness is like looking to get something from someone. Like, I need approval, I need validation, I need attention, I need some sort of like status or acknowledgement that I have place in this world, and I need it from you because I'm not getting it from me. What are your thoughts?
totally. You just explained it so clearly.
Yeah, tell
And
me why.
well, you put all the words I said into nice little packet.
It's like the life coaching 101.
You just put it exactly. And I agree with you completely. I think this is who is this for is like the essential question, or where is it coming from? Who is this for is the question I ask whenever I feel like I'm becoming a bit too cocky. And here's the juicy aspect. Once you understand this, you can choose to be cocky. And this is like the game changer, I believe. I think people can choose cockiness. And is not to say you hurt people, etc. But it can be a useful thing if you know how to, if you understand it for yourself, not from anyone else's perspective. You understand, as Ashley says, the what's in it, where is it coming from. Then you can use it in situations where you might be really lacking confidence. This could be a place where you can show it off because you're stuck in a place of fear and judgment, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do anything. And this might be the ideal place for you to try a little bit of cockiness. And that's just shifts you straight away into that confident spectrum, because you jump from this inward, closed off mentality to bang, I'm out doing stuff. And then once you realize that you are there, you can start to, I don't know, tweak the parameters of whatever cockiness means, and then bring it to the side of confidence. That could be one way, but I'm not saying it is for everyone before jumping into all this kind of stuff. So example, let's say example. Let's say I give you an example. Confidence to me is knowing you can parallel park. Okay. But cockiness is but cockiness is parking across like 3 lanes because they can. Because they have a urgent dry cleaning pickup, so they can. That's cockiness. Confidence is bringing a dish to a potluck dinner Like you made a dish, you're confident about it. You're like, yeah, sure, I'll take it, enjoy it. Cockiness is not bringing a dish and saying, I make the best dish ever. Cockiness is walking into that potluck, tasting a dish and saying, oh, yeah, I make it better than this. What's going on? Why did you do this?
Okay, now I get you.
And so for me, it's becoming clear as we have this discussion what it means to be cocky and what it means to be confident. And I also understand it's a spectrum and it's situational driven, isn't it? So like it should be, because you can be confident in one area of your life, lack in confidence in other area. Oh, and what is your thoughts about, can someone be universally confident?
I think people often forget that they're human and we are not just one thing all of the time, but we have range and we can shift. Oh, that is a whole conversation in itself, having to do a lot around identity. But in the context of confidence and cockiness, I want to touch back on what you said about shifting because I think that that has a lot to do with the range and being not just the one thing. And I love that you said, like, when you're not feeling so confident that you can shift into something to help you get there. I don't know if cockiness is the thing that I would put there just because of the come from. Like, I still think if you're doing something intentionally from a place of needing external validation, in my mind, I'm having a hard time connecting how that could be helpful to someone. That doesn't mean that it wouldn't be helpful. I just can't connect the dots in my own mind right now. But I love somatics for that practice. And what you were just saying is like when you feel not confident, you feel closed, you feel like you come inward, you feel like you even put your shoulders forward, your head down, which is like the body shape of shame and closure and just not feeling good about yourself. And Bessel van der Kolk, who has this really amazing book, Body Keeps a Score, talks a lot about somatic work, talks a lot about how we store trauma in the body and how we can shift ourselves from one state to the next just by working with the body. We don't have to go into the story of the mind, into what happened, into like talk therapy, cognitive behavioral stuff, like the long drawn out process of that. We can just jump straight into the body and go the opposite loop instead of brain to body to outward experience, just go outward experience to body recognition and then awareness of how it's showing up in our body and then shifting it from there without having to do all the cognitive, long, drawn out, complicated work. And what you said was so perfect. It was like, instead of closing forward and going in, I would just skip shifting to the cockiness part and just go straight to the confidence, be like, okay, where do I feel that? I feel an expansion. I feel you sat up, you could see the energy or just like the confidence radiating from you, going like it looked like from your core up, out, expansion. Your shoulders came back. Yeah. You stretched out your arms and you just like opened as a person. And as animals, as human beings, as social creatures, from one animal to another, if you see like a dog or a cat, for instance, like curled into a corner looking scared, there's two responses normally for people. You either want to go towards that thing and help it, save it, rescue it, or you want to go away from that thing because you're like, something is wrong with that. I don't want to have that, scares me, it puts something in me, I don't want anything to do with it. Whereas if that animal was like open, playful, looking, healthy, confident, if you want to say, just safe in their own environment and being like energetic and being like, yes, I am here, I am open, talk to me, interact with me, play with me, that draws people in.
Mm.
And it literally changes the environment around us because of how people want to interact with us. Like if I'm showing up as a confident person, people want to talk to me.
Mm.
People, it's almost like they want a piece of that. It's like, oh, how can I get some of that? Like I am drawn to that. I'm attracted to that. Like give me some of whatever you're vibing on. But if I'm having a shitty day, like today, I'm not feeling it. I'm moving through my own grieving process with stuff in my own life. I'm still proud of how I'm showing up, but life is lifing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm riding the waves of life, and it's a beautiful thing. And sometimes it's hard and it's draining, and that's okay. And I accept it and I allow it. And I need to take ownership and accountability of how I'm still showing up in different spaces. So I need to tap into what, like when I saw you do that, I was like, okay, I'm sitting up now. I'm putting my shoulders back because I'm feeling that vibe from you and I want some of that.
Mm.
So I think that the example that you gave, just from your body language, if anybody was looking at that, it's just perfect.
Okay, let's start a slouching
And now,
again.
now you're super aware of it.
I'm aware. Like you just, Ashley, what are you doing? Stop making me confident.
Get out of my brain. Get out of my brain.
I'm so happy being cocky. Don't make me confident.
Are you really though?
No, I'm not.
Really?
100% not. That was a joke.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you covered. I think that reality is what I take away from there, is reality of us being animals. We are animals. We are part of the nature. We are not any different from the cat, the dog you discussed. We are same. We have similar processes. Okay, in terms of like biological, there will be dissimilar. We deviate in some way, but essentially we have similar processes. And the more we understand it, and somatic practice, as you say, is really intriguing because as you said, it's the opposite way in which we generally talk about processes and changes. So, yeah, I think it's very important to understand that we are part of the animal kingdom. Animal suffers, humans suffer, and humans not just suffer, but they carry it with them. And I think, to take your example one more step further, I think there, in the same book or someone else, Paul Ekman or someone does it, is understanding when a cheetah or tiger chases a gazelle, is the most traumatic thing the gazelle is facing. They're like running literally for life. And after like 2 seconds, when they escape the predator, they're chilling. 2 seconds. Like they just do this, and then they're back grazing.
Mm-hmm. Shake it off. They have a somatic release and nervous system reset. Yeah.
And that's exactly what we can do.
Yeah. If we know how to do it.
Yeah. If we talked about emotional regulation last time. I think this would have been a perfect example of emotional regulation exercise is to regulate yourself, like do all the movements, energize, de-energize, and regulate yourself. So yeah, taking it back to confidence, I think you are absolutely right. I think it's in those situations where you don't feel confident, it might be worth to notice your body, your mind, where it is, and then shift that energy towards something you can do. So, yeah, wonderful.
And there's so much in that, I have to say, because when I think about when people don't feel confident, like one of my clients, for example, they struggle with social anxiety. And we've tied that back to their childhood when they experienced social groups as a child and they did not have a good experience, to say the least. So we have been working on rewiring that program together. And when people go into social circumstances and they don't feel confident, so let's say it's even going further away from cockiness, they feel closed down, they feel shut down, maybe they're having something similar to a panic attack or a trauma response, or they're judging themselves through the eyes of other people around them, they're feeling just really, really less than. That can come from so many different threads in our lives that we have to that would be coming from the cognitive response. If you don't want to go the somatic route and just go straight to your body and just open your shoulders back, then that could be tied to so many different threads, which takes time and talking and some energy and some cognitive ability. But let's say you want to skip all that nonsense. There was a great study done in America somewhere, don't remember the college, it was a college somewhere, where they studied the Superman pose. So it's standing up straight with your hands on your hips, your shoulders back, and your chest forward, and standing like that for, I think it's 2 minutes. And just by standing in that posture of open body and confidence, after 2 minutes, give or take, you genuinely have different brain chemistry going on and different hormones releasing in your body that says, oh, I'm starting to actually feel confident. And you don't have to tie all those threads back, which is why I love somatic so much, is because it takes years off of the work. It took years off of my work, and it takes a lot of time and energy. Sorry, I have a ring in my ear right now. That's driving me slightly crazy. Okay, it's going away. But yeah, I think if anybody wants to have a takeaway from today, please try this Superman pose. Being like, I'm not feeling great. Let me go to the bathroom, open my chest up. And then when you walk back into the social situation, into the room, into whatever you're doing that you want to feel more confident in, just be mindful. Are your shoulders back? Are they down? What is the dialogue in your head? Just be like, I'm safe. I got this. I'm safe. I got this. And just, yeah, Superman pose. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to get too far into it and wipe up the water there.
And also Superwoman pose is available.
And Superwoman pose, excuse me. Superwoman pose. We are not sexist here. Your wife would be so proud.
Hey, that's right.
I saw that. Yeah. Your shirt says, I don't need Google. My wife knows everything. That's cute.
Yeah, so true. So true. I think even the change in posture is amazing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, try it out. Okay, let's go further into a few things here I've got.
We have what do you think, 10, 15 minutes left?
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's come back to defining true confidence. Let's define it. Let's try defining.
Ooh, I like that.
And it's going to be a challenge, but let's see. What do you think? I'll give you some thoughts so that you can come up with. So one of the studies show that people with high self-efficacy, the belief in their own ability to succeed, are more likely to take on challenges and persevere through setbacks. They don't need to shout about it. They just get things done. Internal locus of control, believing you control your destiny, is a huge part of confidence. Mm-hmm. Cocky people believe they are owed things. Confident people make things happen. So this is some insights for us to just mull over before we come up with a definition of confidence. What do you think?
Well, I love all of those concepts. I think locus of power is super important, and the emotional resilience piece and the growth mindset that tied into, the people that have confidence, they don't get affected as much by setbacks because they're in that growth mindset. Ooh, that's a good one. What are your thoughts?
So if I were to define confidence based on everything I know, I would define it in 3 words. 5 words, sorry. Being comfortable in who you are. 6 words is what I think is confident. Being comfortable, truly comfortable in who you are. Now, there are going to be people out there who are these comfort zone haters, I call them. They have problem with comfort zone. I think there's this narrative out there about comfort zone and why everybody should be outside their comfort zone. I get what they're saying, but a truly confident person is comfortable in themselves. They don't need to be outside the comfort zone to show that they are outside the comfort zone. To go back to cockiness, which is like showing someone else, oh, look at me. I am outside my comfort zone. Look at me. So my definition, 6 words, being comfortable in who you are.
Yeah. I just want to if there's one thing that I had to say today, I just want to tie it back to just how you're showing up in your body. I could go deeper than that, but I think that would just lead to confusion and misdirection. And if somebody was coming to this podcast and thinking like, okay, I want to start feeling more confident, I want to start experiencing more confidence. It's like, okay, how is it showing up in your body? When you feel confident, how do you feel? Are you genuinely feeling your shoulders come back? Are you feeling your chest come forward? Do you feel things coming more from your heart and out of a place of like enthusiasm and connection and love? Or are you coming from a place of, I need to prove myself to this person. I need to get validation. I need to prove my worth. Because if you're coming from that place, which we all do sometimes, and then you can just bring it back to, I choose to come from a different place, which is the power thing that you were talking about. It's like, where's my control in this? And do I choose to take that control over my own life? Yours was way easier. You got the 6 words and everything. Yeah. I think people forget their own bodily wisdom. And I would love to have a conversation as to where body wisdom comes in to boundaries. Because that's a conversation I feel like is not had enough, to be fair.
Oh, do you know where we can have that conversation?
On our podcast.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think body wisdom, I think could be the next topic. Maybe.
We brought up a lot of topics in this, but I feel like if anybody is coming here just to find their own balance in between, I'm not going to repeat that. It's fine. That's fine. I've said it enough. I'm going to stop.
No, you mentioned growth mindset, and I think one of the resources I had with me was a book about mindset by Carol Dweck.
Ooh.
And it actually explains this growth mindset. And someone with a fixed mindset, for example, say will say, I am bad at being confident, or I am not good at confidence. But a person with a growth mindset comes into the same situation, says, I might not be confident yet,
Yes.
or I am new at this, so I might be lacking a little bit of confidence. It is a different way. It's not saying, it's not, okay, here's the crux. It's not saying, they're not saying that they are confident even if they are not. They're acknowledging there's a lack, or there's a way to go, and they're appreciating that gap, and they're saying, okay, I'm not there yet, but I'll be there. Do not worry. That's confidence. So yeah, I think that's a great book to dive deep into mindset. Wonderful, wonderful book. I've read it many times and goes into a lot more. The other one I think is self-compassion. We talked about self-compassion for a whole episode. And Kristen Neff has the self-compassion book as well, which is also
she's great.
Which is also really, really good in exploring yourself. So, as we explained, it comes from within, through body, through mind. So it is important to take that action. Just try practice self-compassion. And the other thing I want to mention about cockiness is it often stems from, at least in the research, which is clear that it comes from this deep-seated insecurity. And again, if you're thinking we are putting people down about cockiness, no, I think it's something we have to show compassion towards. If people genuinely are
100%.
showing cockiness, and we don't feel comfortable, that's something we have to work with. Yes, there are people going to be different. They're not exactly going to be exactly like what we want them to be. So if people show different ways of being, different expressions, we have many choices. We can choose, as you say in that example where a dog is showing some sort of, or a cat is like hiding in a corner. We have choice. We can either compassionately approach, or we can walk away. We can be like, okay, not now. I cannot now, but maybe later. So approaching people, or approaching cockiness, coming back to that first, the guy who walked in to my coffee shop, not my coffee shop, I don't own it, but when I see that now, after having this discussion, when I look back at that visual, I feel a little bit of compassion. I feel a little bit of, I could be that guy.
100%.
I could be that guy easily. And I have been that guy many times, where I wanted to show this outward projection of who I was not. So yeah, the only message for people who are cocky is, we are here for you. Is not, you don't have to label it. We are all cocky sometimes, but the more you become aware of it, the less you can move towards the confident and feel confident in body and mind.
You said it so beautifully. I can't even.
Thank you.
I love how you tied all that in. That was so beautiful. Yeah. Yes, perfect.
All right, but is there a gray area?
Is there a gray area between cockiness and confidence?
Yes, and what is it?
Of course there is. Of course there is. I would say it's a shift. So you can shift between the two things. And when people are learning they're learning more self-compassion. When I, as a person, am learning more self-compassion, and I'm shifting from the come from needing external validation from other people and abandoning myself and doing like being a people pleaser or doing the things to try to get what my subconscious feels like I need to be safe, then I'm in that gray area. And that's okay. And that's the perfect place to be in, because that means I'm in the freaking game. It means I'm in the game of life. I'm growing as a person. I'm evolving. I'm in growth mindset, and I'm just doing my best. And I love what you said so much about the compassion, because when we can show compassion to other people who are not directly harming us, who are not manipulating us, who are not emotionally, physically, or financially abusing us in some way, when we're able to show compassion to those people, we're also practicing showing compassion to ourselves. And that's a beautiful thing, and it's what the world needs more of.
Excellent.
There's this beautiful idea within Buddhism. That's the, I don't want to butcher this. I think it's called the look of mercy. So you see someone going through a hard time, going through their struggles, showing up as not the best version of themselves, and you look at them with mercy and compassion. And in essence, you're just being a mirror to your own compassion and mercy that you show to yourself when we do not show up as the best version, which happens.
Excellent. Cool. Is there anything else we want to discuss? Is there anything which is lingering, you think?
No, I think we can tie it all together now. Good place to close.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's close. So we've covered a lot of ink. Okay, that's not going to be in the final cut. Sorry, even though it was amazing. So yeah, that was a really good chat, really good conversation about confidence and its different manifestations, shall I call it? We don't want to be calling it whatever we called it, because I think it's not in the right place anymore. I think we understood what it is. We moved on. Now we understand what it means to be confident. But over the conversations, we've had so many discussions about body, mind, and spirit, and compassion came through. Compassion has been the through line. So whenever you feel you are being in the cockiness spectrum, just show compassion to yourself. It's okay. And if you see someone else being cocky, show compassion. So this is an opportunity for us to practice compassion. And confidence is there within you. We are all here to support you in your journey. And hopefully this conversation brought some ideas, maybe provoked you a little bit to get the message across, or to maybe take action, maybe encouraged you, maybe discouraged you in some sense. But overall, I hope this has been helpful in some way. And that's the intention from myself and Ashley. So yeah, you can always find us, reach us on Instagram. You're on Instagram, right, Ashley, all the time?
Yeah, Instagram's my place.
Instagram is amazing. And yeah, what she talks about on Instagram is really helpful for a lot of people. So yeah, check her profile and get all up with it, and get even book a discovery call with Ashley. It'll be amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And No worries. And yeah, I think you can find me here. I'll be doing some random videos about life and all that. So yeah, thank you for sharing your space, sharing our space.
Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being a part of the conversation. Thanks for being willing to do the work and just being you. Have a beautiful day, guys. Love you. Talk to you soon.